All right, I'd like to call this meeting to order. If we could please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next is the moment of silence. Today's moment of silence is dedicated to Mary Winter Valoni. Thank you. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Muller. Trustee Stylen. Present. Trustee Lepore.
Present.
Trustee Reinders. Present. Trustee Mason.
Present.
Mayor Knightsky-Troicki.
Present. Next is community recognition. Seeming we have none tonight. Moving on to amendments to the agenda. Is there any amendments to the agenda? Hearing none, can I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make that motion.
Trustee Reinders.
I'll second. Or Mike.
Trustee Lepore. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approval of minutes. Seeming we have none. Next is public comment. First up is Sue Foster. Is your microphone on? It should be green if it's on.
It's on.
There you go.
I'm Sue Foster. My family and I moved to Homer Glen back in 2002. We bought a beautiful property immediately behind McHenry's farm. We've enjoyed our time here. We love the community and nature and harmony until last year. Last year, Bankston's Pumpkin Farm decided that they were going to put a carnival in our backyard. So I'm here tonight to ask the trustees to please intervene to prevent the public nuisance which has interfered with the quiet enjoyment of my property and all of my neighbors' property. There's about 60 of us that surround Bankston's farm. Bankston's has eliminated the quiet enjoyment of our properties. They've installed carnival rides that create unrelenting, blood-curdling screaming from the moment that they open until the moment that they close at night. My neighbors and I are unable to use our outdoor property. I can't sit on my deck. I can't talk on my telephone. I have to close my windows on nice summer days because the screaming is horrendous. And all of my neighbors are experiencing the same thing. In addition to that, they have put public parking within feet from residential homes. The parking is unsightly, it's toxic, it's unattractive, it's inappropriate to have in the middle of a residential community. But in addition to that, people, and I don't know how many cars there are, but I'm going to say at least 1,000, and people forget where they park their car. So how do you find your car when you can't find it in the middle of the night or the middle of the afternoon and there's all these thousands of cars? You set off your car alarm. So we listen to car alarms all day and all night, and it is unacceptable. They also have not attended properly to the containment of the animal excrement and urine. Some of my neighbors have to close their doors and windows in the summertime because the noxious odors are so unbearable that you can't live in your own home and have to put up with that.
3 minutes.
Ms.
Okay.
Foster, would you like an additional 3 minutes?
Yes, please.
Is there a motion to approve Ms. Foster an additional 3 minutes? Trustee
I'll
Reiner?
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Carry on.
And I would like to say that there's a lot more to unpack with this whole thing than what I can tell you, even with an additional 3 minutes. So if anyone would like to meet with me or talk with me, I'm very happy to do that. The other thing that we have a problem with is that Bankston's built a berm on the south side of their property that interferes with the watershed from the homes on the south. Some of my neighbors are already flooding. If we get a heavy rain or even a lot of snow melt, which we did not have this winter, more people are going to be flooding. My home is going to be one of them. We have a detention pond. This is all planned. There's a detention pond. The detention pond takes water runoff from the subdivision. In a heavy rain or snow melt, the excess water flows into a retention area. That retention area, Dan Bankston has turned into the parking lot. And in order to have total access to the parking lot, he dammed the detention pond. So now the detention pond is going to be overflowing into residential properties. The last thing that I want to mention, and I would encourage you to speak directly with the sheriff's office about this, which I have. Since Bankston's has opened their carnival, we can directly tie crimes, car breaks-in, thefts, the incident at McDonald's, to the activities at Bankston's at the same time. I love my quiet community. I don't want to bring in outside elements. I don't want to have to listen to car alarms all day. I don't want to have to listen to grown men screaming their brains out. And Bankston's is planning to expand. They're planning to add more carnival rides, expand it into a larger venue. I really don't want Great America in my backyard. And I'm asking the board, this is a public nuisance. And if you don't know what a public nuisance is, I can give you all the details on that. The village has the right to put a stop to any public nuisance. We don't really mind if Bankston's wants to sell pumpkins. We don't mind if they want to have children come and play games. We don't want to have to give up the quiet enjoyment of our properties so that they can have a carnival. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Zemke. Good evening, Lou.
Madam Mayor, Village Board, thank you for allowing me to speak. My name is Lou Zemke. I've been a resident of Homer Glen for over 14 and a half years. I'm also a member of the PFC Michael C. Oliveri American Legion Post 2011 of Homer Glen, your post. I came tonight just to inform the board and also hopefully all the residents of Homer Glen who might listen to this or might see it on YouTube or somewhere, that Memorial Day is approaching rapidly. We, the American Legion, will have a program on Monday, May 26th at 10 o'clock in front of Marion Village Retirement Community. We have this every year. We don't seem to get the word out, so I'm trying tonight to make sure everybody knows you're all welcome, 10 o'clock. There are weather permitting outside. If it's not, then we'll be inside. Coffee and rolls afterwards. But as you all know, Memorial Day is important. It's a day that we celebrate all the veterans, men and women, who fought in the many wars, given their lives, their limbs, their well-being, so that we could be here tonight enjoying our festivities in any way we'd like to. But we wouldn't have that freedom if it wasn't for all of those veterans. So I want you to be aware, think about those veterans, think about those people that fought for our freedom. Thank you on that, and I have one other thing. We have what we call Sunday socials at Marion Village starting in June. There'll be one in June, one in July, one in August. It's a 2-hour, it's free. You come up and have a good time. There'll be food and beverages available to purchase. There will be entertainment. The Brad Jackson and Shades of Country Band will be there on June 8th from 2 to 4 o'clock. Sunday, July 13th, 2 to 4 will be the Joliet American Legion Band. And on Sunday, August 17th, 2 to 4, the Ukulele Moonshiners. You don't want to miss that. They're fantastic. I encourage you all, excuse me, all to come. Bring your lawn chairs, bring your families, bring your kids. It's a fun time. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. Thank you.
Wait, Lou, I have a question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
You have your poppy sales coming up.
I wanted to mention that. Thank you. And you know, you get old, Mayor, the brain doesn't
Hey, I forget
always
things too.
function. The poppy season is starting. This weekend, I will have a crew at Blueberry Hill on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. There's another Legion that'll be over at Jewel. We won't talk about them. The following weekend on 23rd, 4th, and 5th, we'll be at Jewel and also just at Jewel, but not at Blueberry. On June 30, 31, or on May 30, 31, and June 1st, we'll be at the Homer Glen Jewel and Blueberry. Please come out. We got to move this mic. Come out and help us out. You were extremely generous last year. We raised a lot of money. We do not keep that money. That money is given back to veterans or other organizations in need. So thank you for reminding me.
And you have your poppy cans at different establishments, correct?
The what?
You have your poppy cans at different establishments in Homer Glen?
Not doing that this year.
You're not doing that this year? Okay. And do you have enough volunteers to help you with the poppies?
Ed Kerfin is looking for volunteers
Okay.
for 24, 25, 30, 31, and June 1st. I'm okay at Blueberry. I have a crew all set up.
Trustee Reinders is asking, what time do you need help? All day?
Ed will start at 9 in the morning and go until hopefully 4 o'clock if he gets enough volunteers.
Okay.
Okay?
Joe, can you make sure that's posted on our social media since we officially adopted the American Legion?
Any other questions?
I think
Thank
we're
you.
good.
That was great.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Susan Bankston?
Hi, I was just wondering if I could address some of the issues that Mrs. Foster brought up. If she wouldn't mind coming up here, we can.
Actually, we don't do like the conversation. You
Okay.
do address your comments to the board.
Okay.
So
I
you
don't
can
remember,
address the things
I don't
that
remember
were
all of her comments. You know, us being a nuisance is really hard to hear. I feel like we bring a lot to the community in a positive way. We're a very clean, family-friendly environment to be at. If you guys have ever been there when we're open. I know there has been complaints by some of the neighbors of the noise, and we are working on a resolution with that. The animal odor, we were unaware of, and we told the vendor that brings the animals that we're gonna have to do something different this year. It hasn't been an issue in the past, but I'm just assuming that's because we've never been open in the summer, except for last season. So some of that's growing pains for us. As for the retention issue, I know none of that is our responsibility or our issue. We did put in a 6-acre retention pond required by the village for future expansion of our business. And I know that has helped a lot with the flooding of the subdivision that is to the south of us, because when it does rain, we watch the water flow through all the channels that we have open into our retention pond. The berm was also accepted, you know, by the village and permitted and engineered, so that's all done by the book. There's no issues with that. We planted a ton of trees, 300 trees we added to last fall. We added to the berm just to help with sound, to block the visual for the neighbors if they don't want to see what's going on. The car alarms we know was an issue in the past, and we are working on adding lights throughout our parking lot that are on timers, so they will only be on when they have to be on. They won't be on all night. They won't be on, when we're not open. We're only open for a short amount of time. So I want to address that. And that is also requirements by the village. We have to get permission to put the lights up, so we are working on that as well. I was trying to think of what was some of your other...
No.
I can't, sorry. Sorry. I haven't talked up here before. And if any neighbors too that surround us, if you guys have issues, I would rather you guys come and talk to us, because most of it is stuff we can just work out amongst ourselves. Me and my husband Scott are very easy to talk to. We're very willing to help out in any way we can. My father-in-law as well. I know he gets emotions sometimes, but he just has such a love for the business, so I know that can play a part in it. But we're very easy to talk to. We're open door policy. You can call our business. You can even come to the office. We're there working every day. And come and talk to us if you have any issues, concerns, and we'd be more than happy to address anything that someone might have. Okay?
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, now moving on. Is there anybody else that wanted to speak that didn't get to sign in? Come on up. If you could just please state your name.
Hello, my name is Cindy Greeny, and I wrote some notes, so I will hopefully be quick here. I am also here in regards to Bankston Farms. So I just wanted to take a moment to speak to all of you, so thank you, even though I didn't sign in, thank you. I noticed last week that Bankston's has posted their Summerfest dates starting June 20th. There are a number of issues with this, which I can't even begin to get into them all today, and I won't even begin. But some of these issues, I did notify Joe Baber, if I'm saying his last name correctly, and the mayor of. And honestly, I was surprised to see another Summerfest posted. The mayor has been very kind in engaging with me in the last week through email regarding many of my concerns. And quite honestly, there's a lot of community that's beginning to get upset about this and come out of the woodwork. A lot of people are timid to speak. They don't want to look like that person, that neighbor. But Homer Glen is a peaceful, wonderful neighborhood, which I've lived in for 25 years in the same home. And it's a shame to see what's happening. Anyway, back to my issues with Summerfest. The noise is unacceptable. In fact, right before I was leaving to come here, they were doing something, and I can play you the beeping noise that I heard while standing in my kitchen. The noise is unbearable with the pig races, with the people screaming over there. That's all I'm going to get into as far as issues, because that's a major one, and I don't even know how that can be addressed or limited. People want to enjoy their neighborhood or their backyards in June, July, August, even September. It used to be a business that ran in October. Apparently they've received special permits. Nobody's aware where these are. I've been told they're on the meeting notes. I've gone back through meetings and I can't find them, so if anybody can point that out, that would be wonderful. But I will keep it short. I just wanted to say that I am one neighbor that is really beginning. My summer last year was completely ruined, and I am not alone. My summer was spent listening to pig races and music playing in my backyard loudly in June, July, and August. We could not. Oh, okay. I just want to, if I may, enlighten you with a video or a sound that I listened to right before coming. Oh, that's not that. Sorry. This is me in my house. I'm not even outside. I'm in my house, and this is right before I came. And you should listen how long it even goes on.
your 3-minute mark. If you would like
Okay.
to request an additional 3
No,
minutes, we can.
but it
okay.
goes on more than that, so that's all I'll say. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving on for reports and communications from President and other officers. Village Manager Joe Baber.
Thank you, Madam President.
your
Homerfest
microphone
is
on?
only, pardon?
Doesn't sound like your microphone is, but it is.
I'm on.
There you go.
Okay. Homerfest is only 6 weeks away. We're looking for volunteers. If you are interested in volunteering, information's on the Village and the Homerfest website. I'd like to thank Trustee Stylen for her service as a trustee, and I really look forward to working to our new working relationship with the township, and I welcome that. As a reminder to Village trustees, this Saturday there's a senior elected official workshop, Will County EMA, at 9:30 on Saturday morning. Just a reminder, that's been scheduled. I've sent out notices, so if you can make it, it would be appreciated. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Moving on to the village trustees. Trustee Muller.
I have nothing new to report today.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Mason.
Yes, ma'am. We had our public service and safety meeting early last week. One thing that came out of it was people going around school buses. I do want to give you guys a warning if you don't know it, because I just found it out myself. Every school bus has a camera on it, and the fines are hefty. And even if you think you got away, you didn't. They took your plate. Especially if the bus driver reports it, it automatically goes to the Will County Sheriff's. They send a ticket to your house. I want to thank Director Woods too. I've been seeing the street sweeper, which is on its 11th leg. He keeps it running. They're very pricey, but I've been seeing it around the different subdivisions and cleaning the streets, and we appreciate your efforts on keeping that up and running, Mr. Woods. Also, golf carts. We've had, I'm not positive, I'll get the number, but we've had 4 renewals on permits. Just want to make sure as a housekeeping item that if you own a golf cart, plan on driving it around the streets, please make sure you contact the village, because that did come up during our committee last week, and I don't want to see anybody get tickets. Last thing I wanted to say was this week is National Police Week. It is May 11th through the 17th, and that's been going on since 1962. May 15th of every year is Police Officers Memorial Day. We have our own Lieutenant Pete Piazza down in Washington as we speak, along with Director Ron Cuss of our EMA, and several other officers from Will County representing Homer. So we truly appreciate that. And I would like to say goodbye and welcome at the same time to Supervisor Stylen, but I'm going to miss her as a trustee, but I too am looking forward to working with you at the township. Thank you. That's it.
Thank you. Trustee Mason. Trustee Lepore.
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to report back regarding the annual hospitality showcase that took place last Thursday, May 8th. I had the pleasure of attending this event with Director Janie Patch, Trustee Reinders, and Village Manager Joe Baber. This was a wonderful opportunity for our town to network with businesses that are looking to expand operations in new and growing areas. I wanted to commend our Director of Economic Development, Janie Patch, for her hard work in putting this event together for the benefit of our village. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Reinders.
Thank you, Mayor. Today is Trustee Stylen's last board meeting. I would just like to thank you for your many years of service to this village, not only as an employee, but, and I don't want to get emotional.
Oh, here we go.
But volunteer and trustee. You have made your community proud and this board proud to have worked with you. I wish you well in your new journey, and I look forward to working together with you and your team to make our community the best it could be. I know this is not goodbye, it's just we'll talk. In addition to that, I would like to bring something to the attention of our residents. I don't know if our residents are aware of a situation that took place this past Saturday. A female squatter tried to gain access to a home in Homer Glen. She was luckily stopped by our Sheriff's Department and she vacated the area. This is something that is happening all over. Currently, there is a Senate Bill 1563, also known as the Squatters Bill, that has advanced out of the House Committee and is headed to the full House for approval. This proposal law would make it easier for the police department to remove squatters from someone's home by passing the long eviction process. And if anybody has ever heard about this, it usually takes years. So this would actually cut that process if this law is passed. This all took place on May 2nd. So far, there are 47 proponents and 2 opponents. I encourage everyone in our community to file a witness slip supporting this legislation, so nothing like this ever happens again in our community. Some of the supporters of this bill so far are the Illinois Rental Property Owners Association, the Illinois State Bar, Illinois Real Estate Lawyers, Illinois Sheriff's Association, and the Illinois Municipal League. And that's just to name a few. There's a lot more in the actual, that was on the computer today, but I didn't get a chance to write them all down. So I just would like just to bring as an awareness to everybody, because it's happening everywhere, and we really don't want this to start happening in our community. So I think if we all support this bill and get this bill passed, that's really gonna, it's gonna give the sheriffs more of an opportunity to be able to do more and not have it go so long through the courts. So, and that's my report.
Thank you. And last but not least, Trustee Stylen.
Thank you. I'm glad it's a short packet. Because I remember the last trustee that gave a farewell got 18 minutes. So you might have to bear with me, because I am normally the least vocal, I think, on this board. But this is hard. First, I'm just reporting for community development, and thank you to all who worked on the Kite Fest on Saturday. It was really a nice event, and it was great to have some actual wind for those kites. It didn't start out that way. This Saturday, there's a seedling event here at Heritage Park, and there is still openings. So if you're interested, it's a great opportunity to teach kids about gardening. And I know that they go home with a lot of goodies. And at that same time, there's a fundraising event going on here in the park. It's to provide, it's in conjunction, I believe, with the Ability Awareness Committee. And so I don't want to steal anything here, but I know that they're going to have a DJ, face painter, and pizza truck, and probably some fun things to buy. And then Saturday, May 31st, is the fishing derby. There's 2 sessions for that, and there's still openings for people to register online, as well as there's a community-wide garage sale June 13th and 14th that you can register for, and we're looking for sponsors and volunteers for Homerfest. So this is my goodbye, but I'm not going far, so it's not really a total goodbye. When I was elected, I did plan on serving as a trustee for 4 years. And that's probably, I do like to honor my commitments. But I felt like I'm still gonna serve the community as a township supervisor. I started as a volunteer in 2001 as an employee, and I was hoping to celebrate the 25th anniversary year here. Oh gosh, and now I'm going to have a hard time. So my heart and passion is for Homer Glen. And there's so many things that I still would like to see done. And, but I do feel that I'm leaving this in good, capable hands. We have a great mayor, and we have a good board of trustees, and we have a wonderful staff of employees that all really put their heart and soul into the things that they do. So I'm going to miss everybody and working with them. So, but I did want to look back. So this is where I'm going to take some time, because I did make some campaign promises, and I couldn't fulfill them in 2 years. But I am grateful that Lamers Park is getting attention. And I know that Trustee Reinders is making that a priority. I will always be looking out for businesses to help out economic development, and maybe I'll be able to assist in that way. I wanted to provide space for active community organizations to meet, and I know that I'll be opening up more doors at the township in doing that. And I wanted to improve transportation for seniors. I'm still going to be able to do that. I wanted to protect open space. I'll still be able to do that. And I wanted to promote more connections for the Heroes Trail to subdivisions. I might not be able to do that on the village end, but maybe we'll be connecting trails through the unincorporated areas of the township. And then the last thing is, well, as an employee here and as a trustee, well, first as a volunteer, I worked on the Green Vision in 2004. And when I was an employee here, I often handed this to people to remind them of our Green Vision. And I have copies here for everybody. I'll give them to you later. So, because I didn't give one to Nick and I didn't give one to Mike yet, and I don't know if I can't remember if I gave one to Rose. But I'm going to take a few minutes and I'm going to read some things, because in the Green Vision, we set goals for 10 to 20 years, or up to 20 years. And that vision was created in 2004. So here we are 20 years later. And so we were going to establish a GIS database identifying environmental features. And at that time, we didn't really have much of a GIS database, and I think we have that. Create community education and awareness program, and I think the Environment Committee has continued to do a lot of that. Initiate farmland protection measures. We have not really done that, but we still have a lot of farmland here to protect. Approve at least one conservation design development. I think we've done that. Develop at least 5 miles of trail system. We've done that. Adopt a comprehensive park plan and an acquisition program. I believe we've done that. Protected 200 additional acres of open space. And then later on, we had for 10 years out to protect 500. We haven't done that. We can do better. Establish demonstration projects for innovative stormwater management. We really haven't done that, but maybe with the water treatment plant, we'll be able to do that. Produce plans for a town center. That's an ongoing thing. Establish environmental accounting practices. Really haven't done that. Adopt a strategic transportation improvement plan. We've looked at transportation, and I think we will always be doing that. Adopt environmental codes and ordinances, and we did that with our tree ordinance and our lighting ordinance. And then the rest of that, link on environmental corridors and wildlife habitats, and I think we're continuing to do that. So we're not far off. We have made accomplishments, and I'm looking forward to this board continuing to do that. And I just want to thank everybody for all your support, your help, and working with everyone. And I want to also thank the residents who have been kind and supportive as well. Thank you.
You made a lot of that happen yourself, Sue.
So you guys can.
Thank you, Trustee Steinlen. Village Clerk? Village Attorney? I know you got a lot to say.
A couple things. The mayor had asked our office to continue to provide updates to you all on the lawsuit that was brought by the Will County Commissioners against the Will County executive seeking to overturn her veto of the 143rd Street litigation or legislation. As I reported last meeting, that case number 24CH84, was dismissed by the court with prejudice. Per Illinois Supreme Court Rule 303, the Will County Commissioners had 30 days to file a notice of appeal or a motion to reconsider. After reviewing the official court docket that I have access to as an attorney, it does not appear that either a motion to reconsider or a notice of appeal has been filed. So what that means in English is that that order dismissing that case against the Will County Commissioners stands. From a legislative standpoint, outside of the judicial standpoint, legislatively, as I reported last meeting as well, the village had learned that the Will County Quick Take Bill, which, if we all recall, there was somewhat over 200 plus witness slips that were filed in opposition to that Quick Take Bill. But that bill was taken in its entirety. So the complete text of that former Quick Take Bill was taken in its entirety and brought in as an amendment to a different bill. And that bill is House Bill 250. It was brought in the form of 2 separate amendments. One amendment, Amendment 1, has been assigned to the Executive Committee, and Amendment 2, the same text, has been assigned to the Rules Committee. I can report that the mayor directed our office on her behalf to submit her remarks and opposition to those amendments. A review of the legislative agenda shows that nothing has happened pro or against that bill since it's been referred to committees in April. So just so that the public is aware, the quick take bill in its form is now, we call it a horse of a different color, but it's still a horse. So it's now being packaged, for lack of a better word, in House Bill 250 that has nothing in its name of the bill that relates at all to quick take. However, the complete text of the quick take bill was taken and brought in via amendments 1 and 2 to that bill. So if the public wants to oppose a bill for quick take, they can oppose it on that front, which is House Bill 250, amendments 1 and 2. So that's 143rd. The mayor has also asked that we continue to provide updates on Illinois American Water. Legislatively, there is a Senate Bill 1513, which is currently working its way through the Senate. As I reported last meeting, this bill would change the way that public utility infrastructure is valued once it goes through the eminent domain process. There are some recent amendments to that bill that I've provided my opinions privately to the village manager and also to the mayor, which I am not authorized to share at this point until I get the consensus with the board in executive session to do so. But there's been some recent amendments to that bill that deserve a good look, for lack of a better word. But that is still working its way through the process. In addition, we were asked by the mayor also to take a look at what they call franchise agreements. Franchise agreements are things that are utilized, they're contracts that are utilized by a municipality, like the Village of Homer Glen, for instance, to require a public utility that's working in their jurisdiction to sign an agreement. The village itself provides, for lack of better words, they provide land, they provide village roadways, they provide village infrastructure, and all of these public utilities utilize those roadways and infrastructure on, over, above, along, upon, under, across, all over the village's right-of-way. And because they do so, many villages require these public utilities to enter what they call franchise agreements. Now, the village manager and the village mayor and the mayor had asked our firm to take a look, and thank you, Deputy Clerk Marcotte, dug into this deeply, to find out what franchise agreements we currently have. And we do have some. We have two. We have one with Commonwealth Edison, and we have one with Comcast. Those are the two that we've located to date, okay? I'm not going to get into the weeds as to what these agreements say. They all have terms that have yet to expire, and we'll cross that bridge proverbially when we get there. But what I can share to you is that under Chapter 92, Article 3, Section 8, subsection D, the village in its discretion and as limited by law may require utilities to enter into franchise licenses or similar agreements for the privilege of locating their facilities on, over, above, along, upon, under, across, or within the village rights-of-way. I've been asked by both the village manager and the mayor to report on this, and in new business, we're going to talk about it, because it's going to be our recommendation that this village board comes by way of a resolution, and I'll prepare it for or my law firm will prepare it for the village, requiring Illinois American Water to be bound by a franchise agreement, or for the franchise, this provision of our code, to be bound upon them and require them to enter a franchise agreement for the privilege of using the village assets, roadways, and rights-of-way. And we're going to be discussing that a little bit in new business, but we already have this code provision on the books, and it requires the village to deem it necessary to do so. So we're going to be asking for a formal resolution by this board deeming that it's necessary to do so, and then we'll be proposing a ordinance requiring a franchise agreement by next board meeting. As for other matters with Illinois American Water, we had met with a public agency that is involved with regulating Illinois American water. That agency, our meetings with them have been very fruitful, but I don't have anything more tangible to report at this time. But we are making progress. both on that front and also on the development front. Thank you.
Thank you. Public safety officials, I don't see any here. Oh.
They're in Washington.
Oh, that's right. Mr. Woods, you had asked to speak, to say something. Did you have something you wanted to share? No? You just wanted to wave? No, I just wanted to. Oh, the microphone. Oh, gotcha.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, so I guess it's my turn. Couple of things. First and foremost, I want to thank everyone for giving me the grace, space, and time this past week to mourn the loss of one of my best friends. This village hall and the residents really stepped up. And that's why I ran for mayor. I ran not only to fight the water bill and throw things at Rose. I got you back. It's just, to bring this community together and not fight with people and to do the right thing. So I really, really thank the community a lot for stepping up for the Valoni family. Trustee Steilen, I do like your speech way better than the last speech that went on for 18 minutes at the last board meeting. But I will have to say this about you. From the day I met you, you've had a very impressive past. And I know your future is going to be even more impressive. I cannot be any happier that you will be sitting just a few doors away. I will finally have that opportunity to work with the township and get things done and get things accomplished. When you ran, I ran alongside you, and you did make some campaign promises, and I know this board will honor all of those with you. Not for you, but with you, because you may be going a few doors away, but you're still here. I hope you stay on the Community Development Committee as well. I'm actually going to make you. No, I'm just kidding. So you will be missed, but with that being said, we are doing interviews for the trustee positions. As I said, this last week has been a little rough, so I had to take some time out, but we did quite a few interviews. I believe we're starting to narrow it down. We are going to close the applications tomorrow. I believe tomorrow is the last day to submit the applications. We had quite a few submit. I think all the board members who did the interviewing process, I think we just have a couple more to go. And then we'll be making our selection and appointing them in the first meeting in June. First or second meeting? First, there's no second meeting. Oh, that's right, because we have Homerfest. So the first meeting in June, we will appoint the first seat. Bankston's, we're going to talk about that a little later today in new business. Hadley Road, I really need to put this rumor to bed because it's driving me nuts. There's no plans to expand Hadley Road. So who's ever heard that, stop it. If you're saying it, stop it. It is not true. Hadley Road is going to stay Hadley Road the way it is. Mr. Baber, when is the garage sale for the ability awareness, or the little girl that's putting the garage sale on?
That's this Saturday.
That's this Saturday, okay.
Amelia's garage sale.
Yes,
Yep.
so just a
And
reminder.
it's sponsored by the Ability Awareness Committee.
Thank you. Janie, would you mind giving us an update on the 2 ribbon cuttings today?
So we have 2 new businesses that have opened. The first is the Chic Bark Teak dog grooming. They have a real cute little salon for the canine friends in your family, and they have some resident pets that are there, some Australian cattle dogs. There's a puppy in there today, so he was in the photo with us for the ribbon cutting. We bring a nice welcome cake as we're welcoming our new businesses to Homer Glen. The other business that opened is called DY Head and Scalp Spa, and it's a wonderful treatment for relaxation and rejuvenation of your scalp and hair follicles. They actually analyze, and they have a newfangled treatment system where you lay comfortably on a bed with covers, but your head has a wand that comes across with the water jet treatment that they use. And that's just a little bit of a preview of it, but go check them out because it's kind of a newfangled thing. I think it comes out of Japanese tradition, and we have that here now in Homer Glen. So it's a great place to find a gift certificate for somebody that you'd like to pamper or go pamper yourself. So those were the 2 ribbon cuttings today.
Thank you. Village Attorney, thank you for your report. I know it sounds like I was really bossy this last few weeks, but but we need to get stuff done, and I'm very thankful for you to do all that. I apologize to the residents that we can't share all the information, but as you know, we can't show all of our cards. It is Mental Health Awareness Month, so if you know someone struggling, just be kind, give grace, give them a call, make sure that they're okay. And last and not least, I don't want to sound like, I got 2 more things actually. I don't want to sound like the Grinch, but it is getting nice outside and there's ice cream trucks everywhere. We don't allow them in the village for reasons. I know it sounds really bad. I know my daughter got really mad at me today because I wouldn't let her buy an ice cream cone, but you don't know what they're serving out of those trucks. They could be expired ice creams, which we have witnessed. So just be aware, we don't allow ice cream trucks. And then last but not least, I had a lot of residents reach out about these horrific Facebook pages that have the name Homer Glen in it. Unfortunately, I don't have any control or jurisdiction or power over these pages. I wish I did, because I would shut them all down. I've gotten a lot of complaints asking and residents begging me to, make them stop, but unfortunately there is nothing I can do about that. So I just want to be very clear, unless the attorney knows some magic trick.
No, ma'am, but we do have an ordinance and we do have posted what the official web and social media pages are for the Village of Homer Glen. And I believe Mr. Baber's office has that posted both on our website and in Village Hall. So those are our official social media sites where you're going to get all your reliable information directly from the village.
And I have one more I forgot. The Village of Homer Glen is proud to celebrate individuals who make our community a better place, whether through random acts of kindness, a commitment to volunteerism, or simply by spreading positivity. If you know someone who stands out in this way, we invite you to nominate them for the Homer Harmony recognition. Recipients will be honored at a village board meeting and featured on the village website and social media pages. To nominate, check out our website, and I think it's on our Facebook page as well, and you can look for the mayor's recognition as well and just submit the information there. And that finally concludes my report. We're going to move on to consent agenda. It's a long one. Number 1, consider for approval the accounts payable for period of April 26, 2025 through May 15, 2025 in the amount of $594,042.94. Number 2, consider for approval payment of the Village of Homer Glen's March legal bills from Peterson, Johnson, and Murray in the amount of $20,725.50. 3, consider for approval an ordinance updating the Commercial Building Improvement Grant Program. 4, consider approval accepting the Davis Concrete Construction, Inc. bid in the amount of $225,750 for the repair and replacement of curbs and sidewalks at various locations throughout Homer Glen, plus all ancillary work, including purchase and installation of ADA sidewalk pads for a grand total not to exceed $250,000. 5, consider for approval the proposal from J&F Concrete Lifting for the 2025 mudjacking program in the amount of $2.25 per square foot, not to exceed $30,000. 6, consider for approval for the resurfacing bid from Austin Tyler Construction in the amount of $941,881.63, and all ancillary work for a total not to exceed $1,250,000 for the Village of Homer Glen 2025 road resurfacing project. Consider the approval accepting the Perform Traffic Control LTD bid for providing road striping services not to exceed $50,000. Consider for approval the Vulcan Construction Materials LLC bid for stone and gravel for 2025 in the amount of $45,309. 9, consider for approval an ordinance authorizing the sale of surplus public works vehicles, a 2009 Ford F-550 dump truck, a 2005 International 7400 dump truck with plow, a 1999 International 4900 dump truck with plow, and a 2000 International 4900 dump truck with plow. 10, consider for approval a proposal from Cove Construction, Inc. for proposed drainage improvements in Stonebridge Park in the amount of $30,875. 11, consider an approval, an amendment to the Pine Hill Drainage Improvement Project for an additional engineering services in the amount of $11,760. And 12, consider for approval the purchase of a new scoreboard for the Sports Park West football field in the amount of $20,011. Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Trustee Reinders, is there a second?
I'll second.
Trustee Lepore. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Reinders?
Aye.
Trustee Muller? Aye. Trustee Lepore?
Aye.
Trustee Mason?
Aye.
Trustee Stylen?
Aye.
Motion carries. Legislation and action items. Number 1, consider for approval a proclamation declaring May as Mental Health Awareness Month in the Village of Homer Glen. Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Trustee Muller, was that you?
I'll second.
Let's give it to Trustee Stylen. All right, Trustee Mason. Trustee Mason, are you going to read the
I can.
proclamation? Okay.
A proclamation declaring the month of May as Mental Health Awareness Month in the Village of Homer Glen. Whereas the mental health is essential to our physical health and the overall health of our community. And whereas the most recent behavioral health and addiction recovery panel discussions indicate that there is a great opportunity for our community to work together to increase the mental health of our residents. And whereas 1 in 5 U.S. adults experience mental health illness each year, and 1 in 20 U.S. adults experience serious mental health illness each year. And whereas 1 in 6 U.S. youths ages 6 to 17 experience mental health disorder each year. And whereas 50% of all lifetime mental illnesses begin by the age of 14 and 75% by the age of 24. And whereas suicide is the second leading cause of death among people ages 10 to 14, and whereas in July 2022, the FF launched the 988 number to replace the National Suicide Crisis Line in an effort to make it easier for people to access a lifeline anywhere. Now, therefore, I,
Mayor Knightsky-Troike,
do hereby proclaim the month of May 2025 as Mental Health Awareness Month in the Village of Homer Glen, and do hereby urge all citizens to promote the ongoing education of mental health and to reach out and to get connected to services if mental health concerns arise. Approved this day, the 14th of May, 2025.
Thank you, Trustee Mason. Is there any comments regarding the agenda item? No. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Mason?
Aye.
Trustee Muller?
Aye.
Trustee Lepore?
Aye.
Trustee Reinders?
Aye.
Trustee Stylen?
Aye.
Motion carries. L2, consider for approval a proclamation designating the week of May 18th through May 24th, 2025 as National Public Works Week in Homer Glen.
I'll make that motion.
Trustee Mason, is there a second?
I'll second.
Trustee Reinders. Trustee Mason, do you have anything?
No, as I had just stated, Public Works is doing a great job. It's spring season. They keep very busy. I think half the time they're understaffed, but they seem to make it everywhere that they need to be. The street sweepers are out, and again, Director Woods, you've done a great job of keeping that, I don't want to say jalopy going, but we appreciate it, believe me.
Trustee Reinders, did you have anything?
I would just like to thank our Public Works Department as well, and the employees that do such a great job. We wouldn't be able to get everything done in the community if we didn't have them, and they are really stepping up to the plate and doing a great job.
Trustee Stylen?
Yes, I totally agree. I'm just honored to know all of them, and I've worked with them, and they're just really a great group of employees, and they do a good job.
Trustee Muller?
Again, from my time as a resident and through now as a trustee, I've seen nothing but positive things from them, and Director Woods and his crew have answered a lot of questions that I've had over the years too, and they've definitely come through on everything.
Trustee Lepore?
Just going to concur with the other fellow trustees, top-notch department, and Brent's a great guy. Thank you.
And we got the best of the best. Brett, do you have anything you want to add?
I just want to add that, in the many different governmental agencies I've worked in over the years, including Cook County, the Village of Willow Springs, and Homer Glen, include Palos Township in that, I have never worked with a greater group of people than I work with here.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Muller?
Aye.
Trustee Stylen?
Aye.
Trustee Lepore?
Aye.
Trustee Reinders?
Aye.
Trustee Mason?
Motion, sorry, I forgot. Trustee Stylen was going to read the proclamation.
Before we finish the vote?
Before we finish the vote. So one more vote.
Take my eye back.
Yeah, I get to talk a little longer. Okay, okay. Designation of May 18th through 24th, 2025 as Public Works Week in the Village of Homer Glen. Whereas Public Works professionals focus on infrastructure, facilities, and services that are of vital importance to sustainable and resilient communities and to the public health, high quality of life, and well-being of the people of the Village of Homer Glen. And whereas these infrastructure, facilities, and services could not be provided without the dedicated efforts of Public Works professionals at all levels of government and the private sector. We are responsible for rebuilding, improving, and protecting our nation's transportation, drainage systems, public buildings, and other structures and facilities essential for our citizens. And whereas it is in the public interest for the citizens and civic leaders in the Village of Homer Glen to gain knowledge of and to maintain an ongoing interest and understanding of the importance of public works and public works programs in their respective communities. And whereas the year 2025 marks the 65th Annual National Public Works Week sponsored by the American Public Works Association. Now therefore be it resolved that the President and Board of Trustees of the Village of Homer Glen do hereby designate the week of May 18th through the 24th, 2025 as National Public Works Week in the Village of Homer Glen. Be it forever resolved that we urge all citizens to join with us in recognizing the substantial contributions our Public Works Department makes in protecting our health, safety, and quality of life. Approved and adopted this 14th day of May.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, you want to finish the roll call?
Aye.
All right, motion carries. All right, number 3, consider for approval an ordinance granting a variance to reduce the required rear yard setback for a single-family home from 30 feet to 20 feet for certain real property located in the R4 Single-Family Residential District at vacant 13634 South Beaver Court, Homer Glen, Illinois, HG 2509V. Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Trustee Lepore, is there a second?
I'll second.
Trustee Mason? Trustee Lepore?
Yeah, I'm very familiar with this property. I live in Old Oak myself, and cul-de-sac. It's a unique parcel, and I have no problems with this. Thank you.
Trustee Mason?
I agree with Trustee Lepore. If you look at our ordinance, it calls for, lot size of being 12,500. His is 12,333. Lot width 70. His proposed is 107, so it's more. The frontage doesn't, he's proposing 66. We don't have a line item on that. The depth is 96. So he's actually giving more. And it's a unique lot, and it's in a cul-de-sac, and I've seen others, and there's examples of as low as 12 feet setbacks. So I don't see why we would not.
Trustee Stylen?
Yes, I agree. This is just one of those situations where you have that pie-shaped lot, and there's not much more you can do.
Trustee Muller?
Nope, I agree. It's pie-shaped cul-de-sac lots can be tricky to build on, and I see absolutely no issues with this variance.
Trustee Reinders?
I see no issues with it either. Due to the shallow depth of the lot, I think we need to move forward with this.
Is the petitioner here? It's a cute house. Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Trustee Mason.
Aye.
Trustee Lepore.
Aye.
Trustee Stylen.
Aye.
Trustee Muller.
Aye.
Trustee Reinders.
Aye.
Motion carries. Congrats. All right, moving on to number 4. Consider for approval an ordinance granting approval of a variance to permit a mix of masonry and fiber cement siding materials on the first floor of the dwelling in lieu of the exterior construction standards requiring the stone or brick material covered 100% of the aggregate total area of all first floor or story exterior walls, exclusive of doors, windows, and associated trim. 7566. Applicability and scope, new and existing building and structures, additions, alterations, reconstructions, and replacements of existing structures of the code of the Village of Homer Glen for certain real property located in the A2 Rural Residential District at 17844 South Parker Road, Homer Glen, Illinois. Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Trustee Mason and Trustee Reinders. Trustee Mason.
I'm very familiar with the area. I drive by it every day. Bottom line, it's a mixed area. It's very beautiful homes in the area. They're all different. There's several homes that have siding. There's several homes that have stone. There's several homes that have both. I look at the elevation and the covered porch and the columns that he plans and proposed, and I think it's going to be a beautiful home, so I have no issues with it.
Thank you. Trustee Reinders?
I have no issues with it either, and I think the materials that he's using are something that we're seeing more and more these days. More of the houses are going towards the cement siding versus complete brick, so I have no problem with this.
Trustee Stylen?
Yeah, I'm in agreement. This design fits very well in that area of Parker Road, and I love it. It really is a beautiful home.
It's very nice.
Beautiful redo. Thank you.
Trustee Muller?
Again, they're extremely good, good products. It's not cheap $2 a square foot vinyl siding. It's very, and again, it's a good looking house. The products are top notch, so I have absolutely no problems.
Trustee Lepore?
I agree with my fellow trustees. As a house that was built in the 70s, the renovations will definitely improve the home and the area, and very well-written request for variance letter as well. Thank you.
Is the petitioner here? Another cute house. I like it. Beautiful. All right, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Stylen? Aye. Trustee Mason?
Aye.
Trustee Reinders?
Aye.
Trustee Lepore?
Aye.
Trustee Muller?
Aye.
Motion carries. Congrats. All right, number 5, consider for approval resolution number 25-004, a resolution for the appointment of an IMRF authorized agent for the Village of Homer Glen. Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Trustee Mason, is there a second?
I'll second.
Trustee Lepore. Trustee Mason?
This is pretty standard. We have to have it with Director Sawyer's retiring and becoming less and less available. Lisa does a great job, and somebody needs to oversee the process, so absolutely for it.
Trustee Lepore?
Yes, I agree with Trustee Mason. I think Ms. Kopis is perfect for this position, and looking forward to seeing her advance.
Trustee Reinders?
I think she's going to do a great job. She's been doing a good job so far.
Trustee Stylen?
Keeping her eye on you.
Agree with it all.
And Trustee Muller?
Nope, she's been on top of everything that she's reached out to me on, and is one step ahead on everything I've encountered.
Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Trustee Muller?
Aye.
Trustee Mason?
Aye.
Trustee Reinders?
Aye.
Trustee Lepore?
Aye.
Trustee Stylen?
Aye.
Motion carries. Number 6, consider for approval accepting the mayor's appointment of Trustee Rose Reinders as Mayor Pro Tem. Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Trustee Mason, is there a second?
I'll second.
Trustee Lepore. Trustee Mason?
She has the experience, and she's done it once before, so I don't see why she shouldn't be proficient in doing it when you become MIA once again.
Trustee Lepore?
No one better for this position. I can't wait to see how she does when in your absence. Thank you.
Trustee Stylen?
Well, I have seen how she's done. And she's done a great job.
Trustee Muller?
Nope, 100% backing on Rose.
Trustee Reinders?
Thank you. I'm honored to be able to help the mayor again if she needs to take a break or whatever. But also, I'm dedicated to this community as well, and I'm just honored to be able to serve my community.
Okay. I'm happy to have you again. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Mason?
Aye.
Trustee Stylen?
Aye.
Trustee Muller?
Aye.
Trustee Lepore?
Aye.
Trustee Reinders?
Aye.
Motion carries. Number 7, consider for approval an ordinance prohibiting the sale and use of nitrous oxide for recreational purposes in the Village of Homer Glen. Is there a motion?
One more time. I'll make
Trustee
that
Mason?
motion.
I'll second.
Trustee Lepore? Trustee Mason?
I won't read it and beat it all up, but we had it in public service in our safety committee. We agreed unanimously. Bottom line, the background on this was it was brought to our attention through a resident, or I wouldn't have even known of it. Bottom line, if you're going to sell nitrous oxide at a tobacco or a vape shop, it's not for your vehicle to go faster. It's not for your whipped cake. It's for malicious uses, because they're selling it as flavored nitrous oxide and kids are using it. So this is to prohibit the vape shops from selling that and getting our children hooked on yet another substance.
I forgot who called the second. Oh, Trustee Lepore?
Yeah, I know this is Trustee Mason's ordinance. He's been nurturing this along the way, and I feel very good about it. I don't think there's any reason for us not to approve this. I think the nitrous oxide, while it has its purposes, it doesn't need to be in every vape shop and cigar store in our community. Thank you.
Trustee Reinders?
I also agree. We talked about this before, and you're starting to see these little things all over town, and I just think that we don't really need to give our kids any other habits.
Trustee Stylen?
Yes, in agreement. I don't think we need to sell this product in our village.
Trustee Muller?
I agree. There's no reason we need to sell this. Sidebar, I just handled an accident at work a few nights ago, and it was a DUI crash, and it was based off of nitrous oxide. The driver had a big bottle of it and bounced off a bunch of cars into a bus shelter. So
What is it? What does it look like?
Comes in a canister. It comes in a canister or what do you call it? A CO2 canister. There you go.
they're just doing a much larger scale, almost like an oxygen bottle.
600 milligrams, yeah. And they're flavoring it instead of doing like a vape or something like that. And I mean, a lot of things can happen. You just proved my point. I said to, I think, Trustee Lepore the other day when we were talking about this, that if a kid takes it and they call it huffing or whatever, and he breathes it in and he's taking it in because it's strawberry flavored or whatever, and there's no law against it, except for this kid now gets euphoria and blacks out and then cracks his head on the cement, and it's your son or my son or something like that. But this isn't or driving. That was a perfect example. That was so we don't need it in our village, and it's just another way, and it's another addiction, and it's another method for people to make money off the demise of our children, and not going to happen here.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Trustee Mason?
Aye.
Trustee Muller?
Aye.
Trustee Lepore?
Aye.
Trustee Reinders?
Aye.
Trustee Stylen?
Aye.
Motion carries. Moving on to old business. Does anybody have any old business they want to talk about?
Madam Mayor?
Yep.
Just briefly.
Village Attorney?
I just wanted to note that in the consent agenda, there were several items, item 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 10, that were all approved. These were all construction-related proposals that were approved by this board. I would just ask that all those proposals that are now being approved, that our office be involved with the contracts and review of all those contracts to ensure proper indemnification, insurance, and other terms.
And just so the residents know, I know that sounds like a lot, but we do, the board does discuss this at the A&F meetings. So if there's any questions about the finances or how things are going to spend or the large amount of numbers, you can always go to the A&F meetings and ask questions there. Okay. New business. Anybody have any new business? Go ahead, Village Attorney.
Yes, ma'am. Just back to what I reported on during my report. So and I have it on all of your packets as a supplement. There is a copy of Chapter 92, Construction and Land Development, Section 92-8. Ma'am, it's right there. So if you read, do you have it? Trustees, you have it there? Okay, so Part D, and I read this to the public, and I'll read it again. The village, in its discretion and as limited by law, may require utilities to enter into a franchise, license, or similar agreement for the privilege of locating their facilities on, over, above, along, upon, under, across, or within the village rights-of-way. And we can also add to any other village appurtenance or property. So we would be, and this is a consensus by the village manager and the mayor, would be asking just your consensus now in new business, directing my law firm to direct, to number one, your consensus, number one, finding that in exercise of your discretion, you believe that this is something that you are directing me to do, that's something that the board would want to do, which would require a franchise agreement for Illinois American Water or any water utility company that's operating here, water or sewer company, to be bound by a franchise agreement, and make it a violation of our village code for any utility company to operate without one, or Illinois, well, not Illinois Water, but any water or sewer utility.
When I ran for office, that was one of the very first thing I asked was, do we have an agreement? Do we have an agreement in place? And nobody at the time knew or could tell me. And this is absolutely something that should be in place because they are utilizing our streets, they are using our easements, our right-of-ways, and absolutely we need to have a franchise agreement in place.
So with the board's consensus, and Madam Mayor, if you want to call at some point, just to get just a quick consensus from them, that'll direct my firm then to prepare an ordinance and a resolution, making an ordinance requiring a franchise agreement for that and making a violation of our village ordinances with, fines and other remedies for any public utility to operate in violation of that new ordinance.
So with, Trustee Silent?
I just have a question. So what about like would they be grandfathered in though? I mean, can this apply to?
No.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
No, I mean, I don't believe so, ma'am.
Trustee Lepore?
Is typically, what's the average length of a franchise agreement with the utility company?
It all depends, sir. I've seen them go from 20 years to 10 years, 50 years. It's all across the board. One that we had pulled in our review of it had a franchise term for 20 years, which would seem to be a reasonable period of time. But I've also seen some, sir, for 50.
Like 20.
With that being said, is there a consensus to direct the law firm to draft?
Aye.
Okay, just a consensus, because we don't have it as a, okay, well, there you go.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Okay, lastly, under new business, nobody else has anything else? Bankston's, I don't want to, like the attorney says, I don't want to get into the weeds about this, but just to give this board a little history here. I didn't know this was going to come up tonight, or I would have had all my information. The attorney, myself, and village manager Joe Baber had pulled every bit of history, what the Bankstons are allowed to do, what they're not allowed to do, their PUD, public meetings. We've had, what am I trying to say? What's the?
Public urban
No,
development.
what's the meeting? Where you're on, Lynn? What is that called again? Planning Commission, there it is. Sorry, brain fog. We pulled every Planning Commission meeting. We've, the minutes, are different from what the actual, when you watch the videos too. So I would recommend to this board, because there does seem to be an issue. So when I say issue, I've had residents come and complain and say that there are noises. We did meet with the Bankstons. They were very gracious. They were willing to work on a lot of the things that were brought up. I know one of the comments were made about the smell or the odor, which the Bankstons absolutely understood and said that they will handle that. There was a lighting issue with one light. We're trying to figure out which, well, not me, but they're trying to figure out which light it is that is the nuisance. So the Bankstons are trying to step it up and work with the neighbors. I did have a meeting with a group of neighbors. I think there was maybe 8 of them there, and I heard all their concerns. We talked about flooding, which, Joe, when you guys take a look at all that information that we all compiled together, you'll understand the history. Not to say that there's confusion, but there's a difference of opinion on some things of what they are allowed to do and what they're not allowed to do. Right now, the point that I'm at, and again, I've been a little absent for the last week, but from what I understand, there was supposed to be a special event permit pulled to allow for a summer event. The Bankstons would like to entertain a summer event to see how it would work. They're not so sure that it's going to even benefit them to have it. That's kind of like a trial period. As I stated before, the noises with the parking alarms, yes, the Bankstons recognize that's an issue. They're going to put up parking signage to let people know you're in lot A, section B, or whatever it is that they need to do to help people find their cars. I mean, I never even really thought about that. I went to Meijer the other day and I clicked my button and it went off, and it made me think of farm too. I do have a meeting scheduled. I hope I responded to an email right before the meeting asking to have it on Monday with another group of residents, just to kind of hear their concerns. We have hopefully another meeting soon with the Bankstons to talk about that. I would like to get the residents and the Bankstons together in a cordial conversation to discuss what is going on and how we can work together as a community and the neighbors and live in harmony next to each other. But I do think it's important that you guys review everything. Our attorney has an opinion on what they are allowed to do. From what I understand, their attorney has a different opinion. So that's kind of where we're at right now. Is it a difference of an opinion? And as the Bankstons had met with me and talked to me a couple of times, we're going to try to work that out together, I believe, if that's where we're still at. Does anybody have any questions so far on that?
Yes. When is this special permit or summer fest or whatever is supposed to transpire.
Joe, do you remember the start dates?
I think it's in early June.
I'm sorry?
I believe it's in early June.
So we have a little bit of time to dig through it.
May? Not really, but is it May? Is it May or June? June? Okay, so June. So we have a short period of time here to get this figured out. But like I said, they have been coming to the table, trying to work things out, trying to figure out some things. I do understand that there is a one particular ride that is causing some noise.
Angst.
Some aggravation with the residents, and the Bankstons also offered to put up like a sound wall to help prevent some sound. There was a mention of, I said it before, flooding. Joe and I believe Mr. Westcott had looked at the flooding. Where the Bankstons put their berm is actually where they were supposed to put it. It's the right height, the right depth, all that stuff was fine. It's where the flooding is, certain structures were put in this flooding area, or waterway, I should say, watershed. And so where residents had put their structures, it's causing an issue. It's causing some flooding. So we do have to work those out with the neighbors as well. And again, that is from our opinion of what we had seen. We're not always right, you know, we got to dive into it a little bit more. And without getting the attorneys and getting attorney fees skyrocketing on this, we figured we could just kind of try to figure it out amongst ourselves. So I do think it's important, again, I can't stress enough. And if I do have that meeting on Monday with the residents again, I'd like for one of the trustees to accompany me on this as well. If Mr. Lepore, if you'd like to do it with me. I don't know about the crime. I did not hear that there was additional crime. I don't want to scare anybody. That was the first time I've ever heard that. And I have a good relationship with the police department, so I haven't heard that there was an increase in crime. I haven't heard that, but I'm not saying it's not true. And I think that was it. So just to give you guys a brief update of yes, Mr. Baber.
What I'd like to do is prepare all our historical data and meetings and minutes and things like that, and I'll prepare it and provide it to the board.
Yep. And then with the residents as well, because I know some residents had asked me for specific dates, and I can share that, and I've shared it with the Bankstons too to review everything, and it's just a matter of opinion at this point. So we just want to clean it up, clarify it, and go from there. Yes, attorney. No, go ahead.
No, ma'am, I'll speak to you afterwards.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, is there any more new business? Nope. Okay, no workshop. We're going to go into executive session. Is there a motion to go into executive session?
I'll make that motion.
For discussion regarding personnel and discussion regarding pending litigation.
I'll make that motion.
Oh, and utilities. Trustee Reinders, is there a second?
Second.
Trustee Lepore, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're going to go into executive session.